Welcome, Gemini and Gemini cross watchers, to your reading for this week. So we have the Seven of Cups here. Okay. So usually the Seven of Cups talks about having kind of a lot of different options. And I'll be honest, I feel, Gemini, you're not actually super jazzed about any of them. It feels like it's almost like you might be going out and being interviewed for a new job, or they're trying to get you to buy something and they're touring you around and showing you all this great stuff. And you're looking at it like, you know what? I don't want any of this and I don't want to be here. However, I feel like the person that is kind of taking you on that journey, all of like the journey kind of pales into the background, and there seems to be something about that person that is if it feels like you find them really captivating. And it could be romantic, it could not be, right? It feels more that it's like it's someone that is very out of the box. From your perspective, it feels like it's really refreshing to have a conversation with someone like this that's so open-minded. It feels like that that having that kind of like conversing and back and forth, and that where someone is like, they're inquisitive and they're curious, but they're not rigid. And it feels like it's like having the conversation with the perfect, not opposite, but the perfect complementary person to you, if that makes sense, right? It feels like it's almost like even if this person doesn't necessarily like agree with your point, they're able to step outside themselves and kind of like, and they at least can like, okay, well, yeah, I see where you're coming from and I can understand how you got to, this and this point. And it feels like this, like, like a big bang moment for you, right? Like the Big Bang Theory. And it's almost like all of this information and these ideas and this kind of like something just kind of opens up for you, right? It's like the experience with this person kind of cracked you open. It feels like it's one of those conversations when it could, for some of you, even be like, maybe you're taking the bus home, or you're like, it feels like it's something that's rather innocuous. I think that's the right word, but rather like, it feels like you're just doing something like regular. And then you meet this person and you have this conversation and it's like, oh, wow, it's so nice to know that there's somebody else out there that their mind seems to work in a similar manner, right? And it's not like, oh, this person thinks all the same things I think, because I feel like that's nice, but there's nothing like, not that you're running around looking for conflict, right? But you enjoy having the opportunity to talk to someone where there's substance in it, right? There's substance, but there's no emotional attachment. And that seems to be, it almost feels like you're able to kind of explore the inner workings of your own mind. And this person would like listen attentively and then be like, oh, that's a really good point. I never thought about that. And then they would kind of add to it instead of trying to like dampen you. And listen, if someone has tried to dampen you in the past, I'm sorry that has been your experience. But it feels like it's one of those moments, and then, and it's almost like, and someone's like, let's say you were touring the aquarium, or I was going to say the zoo, but let's say you were touring the aquarium and someone's like, oh, how was the aquarium? And you're like, I don't even know. I could not tell you. And I feel like there's something that seems really special about the conversation, because instead of like, and I met this person and this was great and that was great, I feel like there's something about the interaction that you got from it that is, it's almost like it's too precious for words. It feels like it's something that you don't really want to share with other people. not so much that you are keeping a secret from them, or, or there's anything like that. It just feels like um, it doesn't feel like they would understand the gravity of it for you or what it meant to you. And it's almost like, and even in trying to explain it to them, it would kind of, um, the fact that like they probably would get it, but they wouldn't really understand, it would almost kind of, it would kind of ruin it for you. Not ruin it entirely, right? But the kind of magic in the air that you're experiencing, that would kind of, you feel like that would fade away. So we have the Five of Cups here. I feel like you're going to realize that, and bear with me, okay, that you may have been very limiting to yourself. There seems to be something, it's like, so this situation happens with this person, you have the conversation, you go to bed that night, you wake up the next morning, and it feels like it's a whole new day. And it feels like it's one of those things where you wake up with a different attitude. I feel like you may have got some things off your chest with this person. It feels like I feel like you may realize that before this conversation, you actually may have had kind of a morose energy about you. Um, I feel like you also seem to realize that you were limiting yourself in the interactions that you would have with other people. You may have been in a little bit of like avoidance, right? It's like avoiding eye contact, but not because you're afraid of anybody, but because like you don't want to stand and talk. You don't want to be around people that like you constantly have to explain yourself, and feeling like the message that you're trying to send, it's like you can see by the way that they're reacting that they're not receiving it, right? Um, for some of you, it could be that you are fluent in another, like your mother tongue is a different language. And so you're trying to like get this message across, and you can see that people aren't getting it, and they may actually kind of like talk down to you a little bit. Um, and it's not because they think they're um, better or whatever. Maybe some of them do, but I feel more that it's like they're trying to get a message across. And so they kind of scale back the complexity of their words. And you're standing there like, listen, I understand it. The only person that isn't really getting what's going on here, isn't understanding anybody, isn't me. Right. And so I feel like that may have caused you to kind of limit interactions in certain situations. And it seems to be that this experience with this person that like has, a PhD in active listening, they seem to have really invigorated you to kind of put your best foot out there and kind of feel like, it's kind of a fresh new day for Gemini, if that makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to get one more card here. Okay. So this may be specific, but I'm going to read it as I see it. I feel like there was someone in your life that it may have been, feels like it's a masculine type of energy. And I feel like this person, it feels like they kept a really watchful eye, right? Like they were constantly correcting things. So there's a part of the brain that's called the cerebellum, and they refer to it as the creeper. So every time that your brain writes a program, like I'm going to pick up this cup, I'm going to walk here, the creeper or the cerebellum will look at the program and it'll kind of correct everything, right? So it's like you go to pick up the cup, and if you hit your finger off the cup, the next time your brain writes that program, the cerebellum will fix that, right? And so I feel like, but it's just constant. So it feels like this person was this ever watchful eye constantly coming in and correcting you. I feel like you could do 99 things perfect, and then this person would come in and be like, yeah, you did good, but next time do this. And I feel like, okay, from what I'm seeing, this person didn't want you to waste your potential because they feel like they didn't have anybody to do that for them. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I don't even know what this is. I'm just going to turn the volume off on my phone. I'm so sorry. There we go. So, and so I feel like this person they wanted to push you to be, I feel like there was a little bit of them like putting their stuff on you, right? Like they wanted to push you to be something because they felt like they couldn't be that thing. And it felt like to you that, that it was like, it was something that you adjusted to, that you got used to, but it feels like it was very critical at times. And because of the nature of that relationship, it led you to a place where it was like, this is not someone that you can explore the innermost corners of your mind with, right? And so I feel like you seem to look at this person, after you kind of evaluate it for a while, it feels like you feel kind of bad for them, in that, that the degree of that is going to be different for everybody because the degree of the controlling nature is going to be different, right? Because I feel like, from what I'm seeing, I feel like that controlling nature was coming out of a desperation for you to not let yourself fall by the wayside. And so I feel like they're like, either they've lived that experience or they've seen it and they're not going to let it to happen to you. That was their driving force. And so I feel like you're able to see that and recognize it, but it feels like you're looking at them like, oh my gosh, it must have been so exhausting to exist in a place where you're constantly feeling like you're going to fail. So, I think I'll leave it there, Gemini. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.